Good evening. Almost evening. It's almost 5 o'clock Big Brother time. So good almost evening, Big Brother fans. Pardon me while I get my microphone adjusted here. I hope it's not too noisy. All right. Let's see what's going on. It is Monday, August 26th, and day 42. So I had a very abbreviated, very rushed podcast this morning. And because, yes, I recorded it, then I accidentally erased it, and I re-recorded it. This is going to be a much longer one. I'm going to try to redo what I did this afternoon, at least in part. But a lot went on since I did my podcast right before lunch. Because... a lot got on. Let me get to that at the end here. Sorry for those of you that don't want to listen to what I talked about earlier. You're going to have to skip ahead. Or you're just going to listen to me talk twice and hear me tell the same story slightly differently again and maybe include extra bits. All right, so we're going to rewind here. Power Veto competition. Cam won it, right? We know that. It was the prize and punishment, right? So... the prize is $5,000 for decor, which was given to her, and this comes into play a little bit later today. Tucker had the opportunity to get the cash, and instead he took the punishment, the BB AI assistant punishment, which is a unitard costume punishment. He took that punishment. If you hear a train in the background, I'm sorry, don't usually hear a train around here, but there is a track nearby, so... I don't know if you can hear that or not. I don't know if this mic is not including it. But anyways, it's bothering me. So the BBAI punishment, which he has to look up things in an encyclopedia, it's already mostly over at this point. They kept him up a lot of the night looking stuff up. It'll be on TV on Wednesday. You'll see it in part of the 2-hour special. It is what it is. But he took it and gave to Core the opportunity to get something else, or he just gave her $5,000, something like that, right? Tucker's very calculating in the way he's played. He has done these things. Him saving people, him saving Quinn from nomination. While it may have seemed crazy, and it was crazy to do, it did get him a lot of goodwill from Quinn, right? He gave to Core $5,000. Now, he maintains that he didn't expect anything for it, but... again, we'll get to this later on today, in today's goings-on, to see, did Tucker think he might get a little bit of traction out of it? I think he did. MJ, as mentioned, got the Hawaii trip. Cam won the Power Veto. Joseph got the 24 hours of solitary. He is out of solitary. One little tidbit from that. First of all, we never got to see him in solitary. They never showed us the camera. That is the first time that any of us that I've seen online, recall us never seeing them at all. We usually we could see them enter the room. There probably was some other season where we didn't see him in the room, but I don't remember it. And I remember seeing Felicia specifically set up in her solitary confinement. So it has happened. We have seen it in all the seasons that I can remember. But he's out of it. He mentioned that there was messages being read or things being said, so maybe he was getting some things said, or maybe some noise. I don't know. I'm sure they'll show us. That's probably why they did it. They probably don't want us. You got in their mind, we got to keep the public from seeing what it was, and they'll tune into the show. Well, actually, this season's actually good enough that we have been tuning into the show, and we would be whether or not we've seen parts, because it has been entertaining enough, and they have kept enough away from us otherwise that. It's not something that I would have tuned into it anyways. I will tune into Wednesday's show either way. All right. So that's the Power Veto. Then the discussions went on about what's going to happen with the Power Veto. And Angela had the task where she had to move 1,000 ping pong balls, and she did that, and she completed it. And some of the house guests stayed up with her all night. The only 3 that didn't, as we saw, at least at the very end, were Joseph and I don't know why Joseph didn't, but I don't think he was out there. And then Takor and Tucker, who Tucker was doing a thing, so I get that. So those are your people that didn't stay up. And Angela's very grateful to all of them for doing that. All right, I'm going to pause this for a half a second, and I'll be right back. So that's all the prizes and punishments, I believe. What else happened on Sunday? So Angela completed her task in the morning. They got to sleep in, so a lot of the day was spent sleeping. Towards the end of the day, from what I've been able to piece together, it may have been that, well, there was Angela having conversations with people. She was getting a bit paranoid. Angela's getting paranoid because she knows she's at the bottom of the 6th Avenue Alliance, the bottom of the Tanks Alliance. She isn't the Tanks Alliance. It's the Tanks Alliance. Remember, we've got another multi-layer alliance here. We've got the Fringe Alliance with Rubina, Tucker, Chemo, and Takor. Then they added on Angela and Tucker, and then they added on Joseph. So we've got three alliances, three layers, and Angela knows she's on the bottom of that one, even though in theory she is above Joseph. She just feels that she is. She's paranoid. She gets this way. So she's having this paranoia. She's talking to people. She hears she may be going up as the renom. All day yesterday we were thinking, well, it's probably between potentially Leah and Angela. Now, Angela is an interesting quandary there because Angela is in these alliances, right? So, in Angela's mind, why am I a possible renom? Because she thinks she is, when there's so many other people still in the house. Well, Takor's answer was, well, there really aren't that many people when you think about it. And I have this, and, Angela finds out she has a deal with Chelsea not to nominate her, who I think Tucker told her that, which kind of made Takor mad that Tucker revealed that relationship, but she has a relationship with Takor that she's not, or with Chelsea, that she's not putting Chelsea up. Angela was also quizzing Chemo about, what about Quinn? And Chemo was kind of like, well, I think she kind of has a special relationship with Quinn too. So it's like, well, so we'll get, why am I the obvious choice here? So she has all these doubts. She talked to Quinn. She talked to Tucker. She's like, and I never posted this video. I said I was going to get it, and I didn't post it. I may still go back and get it. We'll see. Because today, either this morning, I think it's this morning before the thing, Tucker told Chemo that he's his number one. He wants him to win. That's who he wants to be with at the final. He wants Chemo to win, no matter what, which I found interesting. And I thought, or he said, final two kind of a deal. It was all the promises that you make to your ride or die. But I swear he's made similar promises to Angela. And he keeps poo-pooing Angela when Angela's quizzing about Rubina, saying, no, that's outside the house. I was with you before I was with Rubina. She'll understand when I have to get rid of her, kind of a thing, which, now, I'm paraphrasing because that's exactly what Angela was saying to Takor, but I believe that is kind of what Tucker was intimating, and he talked to her yesterday. Angela's like, she's got, this is something she said today, but it applies to some of her actions yesterday. She said to Takor today, he's got too many promises out there. He's got too many people that he said, you got to have faith in me. You can't have that many people. You cannot have that many connections. You're lying to somebody. So he's lying. That's kind of been her mantra, that Tucker's lying. She said, he's lying to me. I know he's lying to me. And that was what she was feeding on yesterday. Now, I think in the back bedroom, in the pedal bedroom, I believe they may have been having a, quote, mock funeral for Joseph. They had one at some point yesterday. I never saw it, but I think that may have been what was going on. They had a funeral for him, like it was kind of like Dan when Dan was in the solitary. Joseph's very obsessed with Dan and this whole bit. So I think that's what they were doing, but We don't know because we didn't get into it until the feeds cut to Angela standing in the room with MJ, Leah, and Quinn, and she's basically saying, Tucker's got to go. He's lying to everyone. He says he has final deals. He says he's got you, he's got you. He's lying. He's lying to all of us. We just have to get rid of him. This is our opportunity to strike because he won't be on the block. You know, he's going to be on the block for sure, assuming he doesn't win the AI arena, because he's not. Cam's using the veto later tomorrow. Cam's using the veto tomorrow, and he's not saving Tucker with it. He's saving himself. So it's going to be Tucker on the block, and we have to get rid of him. So they were like, "Oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense," and said things, and then she left, and not much longer after that, Quinn goes up and tells Takor that Angela has said these things. Now, I don't know if we saw this exactly. I think they did. I wasn't watching. I was doing something else. But what I saw was shortly after that, Angela's up there. Not Angela. MJ is up there talking to Takor. And I guess what happened was Takor said, hey, I just heard this, from Quinn, or I just heard this. Can you confirm this? And MJ later said, I kind of knew you knew something, so I wasn't going to lie about it. And so, yeah, I fessed up to it and did admit to Takor about this situation, about what Angela said in the room. Now, I don't remember how, again, there's just so many things going on. I don't know how it got back exactly to Tucker. Some people have said that Rubina told Tucker. I don't know if maybe Takor told Tucker, but either way, Tucker found out. I think Rubina told Tucker. And I say that, or Quinn, either Quinn or Rubina told Tucker. And I say that because then Tucker found out, and we skip over now to this morning, and Tucker is confronting the first thing that happened when the feeds came on. That's what I said. This is like lunchtime for me. I'm literally, they're getting up as I'm walking to lunch, and I find out that Tucker's already talking to Angela. And he's got Angela in the bathroom, and he's basically saying, you try to backstab me. You've exposed things. You've exposed alliances. You've told people things, And Angela, just her world starts crumbling. Now remember, Angela got very little sleep 2 nights before. She walked for at least 20 miles in the backyard, and she's very sore from that. And so her, she's got all kinds of aches and pains going on. And she just kind of breaks down. She's like, that's it, my game's over. I'm totally paraphrasing and putting it together as best I can explain it. Her mindset seemed to be, I shot my shot. I tried to take a shot. It was too soon. I shouldn't have done it this soon. I broke your trust. And she's like, well, who told you? And Tucker said, well, it was MJ. MJ told me here in the bathroom. I don't think MJ told him. That's the key. Tucker laid it on MJ. I think as opposed to laying it on Quinn or laying it on Rubina, Tucker told Angela that it was MJ. And he basically said, so it was MJ, and Angela's like, well, you can never trust me again. He says, well, I can understand you going to MJ. It's the heat of the game. You're not sure what's going on. It's okay, but you need to go, basically, you need to go confess your sins to Takor, because, you need to explain it to Takor, because she knows, obviously, and, you need to go explain to her what was going on, because Takor is part of the alliance, right? And Angela, just like crying, weepy, I don't know what I got to do. And the whole time Tucker is just pushing this agenda of, you need to go talk to Takor. You need to go make good and all this. And so I literally tweeted, and the tweet is still out there, said, oh my gosh, Tucker's working his magic on Angela, and he's going to work his way out of this and, head this off at the pass and fix everything up. And I had no sooner submitted that, posted it, then Angela walked out in the backyard by herself and starts talking to herself and says, I'm not going to do that. MJ doesn't deserve it. MJ's she's not done anything. I've already thrown MJ under the bus enough, and I'm not going to do it again. I'm not going to lie. I can't lie. I'm not good at lying. Yada, yada, yada. And so I'm like, whoa, okay. Now, Angela then, and again, pardon me if I get the chronology a bit wrong on some of this stuff. It was over the course of my lunch hour. And I had to stop watching and then just kind of catch up online by reading what was going on. But Angela then heads up to the head of household room and starts talking to Decor, and basically lays it all out there and says, this is what I did. She said, I've had a long, long relationship with Tucker. He's made me all kinds of promises, but he's made all kinds of people promises, and you cannot trust, and that's what I said. She said, you cannot trust him. He's got too many things going on. You think he's taking you to the end, he's not taking you to the end. You think that no, he's probably not. He's got deals with everybody. And that's why I tried to go against it, but it didn't work. And again, she's like, I shot my shot. If you need to put me up, put me up. I understand. It's okay. She kind of seemed resigned to, that's it, I'm done. My game is over. I'm out of here. And trust me, it was at least a half hour, and I just kind of summarized it as best I could. Thankfully, Jakor wasn't saying a whole lot. She was just, She did chime in a little bit at the end, but it wasn't much. Angela then proceeds outside and tells, I think it was Chelsea and Cam. I don't know who the third person, maybe it's Quinn. Maybe it's Quinn, Chelsea, and Cam. I may have said that differently earlier, but I think it was Quinn, Chelsea, and Cam. I tweeted it. That the same thing, like I did it, you guys can just carry on and don't worry about me, and I know my day, I know I'm done. I got 4 days left. I just want to get along with everybody. She's resigned to the fact that Takor's going to put her up and she's going to get voted out on Thursday. That's just her mindset at that point. And so she goes through all these steps and everything, and then they come back and word gets back to Tucker. Because I think it was somebody saying, oh yeah, she's saying she's done and all this kind of stuff. And I can't think if there was anything else that went on before the Power of V2B, except for what we didn't see. Joseph was still in solitary. Tucker really has wanted Leah to go up as the replacement nom. And this is me talking my logic, but I think most people would agree with me. I think that he sees Leah, among other things, as a threat. He doesn't think he can manipulate Leah. I actually tweeted a video of Leah, I think it was last night, kind of putting her foot down to Tucker when Tucker said something, and she's like, I don't know why you don't trust me. I've never done anything to do. And she kind of like, Tucker had kind of like threw a little shade her way, and she kind of got ticked off at it and kind of blew up at him. Not loudly blew up, but kind of sternly. And I was like, whoa, Tucker doesn't like it when you stand up to him. So, kind of like, remember his conversation with Brooklyn last week? Yeah, same kind of thing. It wasn't quite as back and forth, but it was the same kind of thing there. And I thought, yep, that's it. He's going to target Leah now. And he already had. He had been targeting Leah. And so, Tucker really wanted Leah to go. He'd been talking to Core, kind of like, you need to just do this. Just do this for me. I've been doing stuff for everybody else. Just do this for me. That's what I'm talking about, because later on in the day, he mentioned taking the punishment and saying he didn't do it, to gain any favors. And yet he mentioned it. I didn't do it to get any favors, but you just mentioned it, and you're ticked off at the person who didn't do what you wanted to, because yes, indeed, the feeds went down for the Power Veto meeting. And when they came back, two things. Joseph was out of solitary, and again, we don't know what all went on. And Takor had put up Angela. So it's Angela, Tucker, and MJ on the block. And Tucker's really, really mad. Really, no, he's not mad now, but he was really mad right when the feeds came back. And it sounds like he must have walked away as soon as the meeting was over. Because Angela addressed a bunch of people and said a bunch of things specifically about Tucker, and he had to get retells from, Rubina wouldn't tell him. Quinn said she basically called you the devil. So she threw Tucker under the bus to the group. She may have actually outed the 6th Avenue Alliance, I'm not sure, but she outed some kind of alliance. And because I heard Joseph explaining to Quinn how he came to be in that alliance. He says, I just kind of walked into the room. So that was, to me, was like, oh, that was when 6th Avenue formed. So Joseph walked into the Tanks Alliance and got invited to join as a part of, he didn't know it was the Tanks Alliance as the 6th Avenue. So Angela outed that one. I don't know if she outed the Tanks Alliance or not. I'm not sure, but Angela kind of did a scorched earth post POV meeting. And again, she's like, I'm going home anyways. It doesn't matter. And I'm going to try to, it seemed like she was trying to ruin Tucker's game. She was actually trying in a way to say, you need to keep MJ. MJ is the, she deserves to be here. She's been through enough. She's not a bad girl. At least she says several very flattering things about MJ, which is weird because MJ is also kissing up to Tucker still. MJ earlier, just a little bit ago, was saying that she got wind that Tucker, from Angela, I think, that Tucker claimed that MJ was the one that revealed this whole plan to him. And MJ was like, it wasn't me. How dare he do that? What's he doing? I'm going to have to call him out for that. Well, she's not called him out. She's kissed his butt and talked to him. Now, part of it could be game, but she talked like she was going to confront him, and then she didn't. So who knows? So we've got, at this point, Angela and Tucker and MJ on the block. And by the way, I've kind of glossed over it, but Tucker's moping. Tucker was just back in the stone bedroom when the feeds came back after the power veto, and he just stayed there for like an hour, just miserable. Just, I'm quitting, I'm done, I'm playing, nobody wants to play the way I want to play, so I'm quitting. I'm on the varsity and I'm playing with a bunch of JV players, to which I kind of said, also, what he means is, everybody else is doing layups and I'm shooting from the three-point line. Now, and that works because it's harder to hit from the three-point line. So you don't always hit. It's a riskier shot, right? Layups are easy. That's kind of what Quinn is saying, or what Tucker's saying. Layups are easy. You know what? You guys are going to do it the easy way. I want to do it the hard way because I want to liven this up. And his whole obsession with being the first person that was in the big. Now we got to take out the celebrity seasons. Okay, wipe the celebrity seasons from your mind, and I think even wipe a Canadian season from your mind. Big Brother USA, first house guest in the house, has never won. Regular season has never won, and he said he wants to break that curse. It's like, who cares? But he's like, no, it's all part of it. I just want to go completely against the grain and still win and dominate. Well, it's a very risky strategy, and it's probably not going to land in the win, but we'll see. I do think production wants to keep him in the house at all costs, because I guarantee you there are people that are only watching because of him, and if he leaves, they're going to be like, I'm done. So they'll talk him into staying. They'll give him $20,000, right? He's going to get $20,000. Matter of fact, they'll point that out to him and say, Quinn, Tucker, if you leave, what if you get $20,000? You're not even going to be in the house anymore if you get voted out, right? Think about that. When are they giving the $20,000? I think the vote, maybe the vote's Wednesday night. I don't know when the vote is. If the vote's for the $20,000, if that's tonight or Wednesday night, then maybe they'll tell him on Thursday. But what if the vote is Thursday night? That's an interesting question. I will be tweeting that once I'm done here. Of course, it's probably, they announced it on the show. I need to go back and watch, but I'm not patient enough to do that. I'll have to just ask and be treated like I'm dumb, which I am sometimes. All right. Have I covered it all? I have made one full lap. Well, this actually was my second lap. My first lap, I was watching the feeds. We're at 24 minutes. All right. So there you go. Takes me about 24 minutes to walk a lap here. And the dogs, we've done 2 of them. So I think she's had enough. And I should turn around, but I'm going to finish this up before I turn around. I think I'm done. I also did a Twitch live stream for the first time in 2 years on the way home. That was fun. Got to talk to a few of you. Grandma Deb and Ms. Aslan and a couple other people that I saw on there whose names were familiar. That was kind of cool. I didn't make a big burst of it. I just decided to do it like 5 minutes before I did it. I'm like, I should just do this. But guess what? The internet still sucks on my drive home because, as someone pointed out, Ms. Aslan pointed out, it looks like you're in a bad spot. It's like, it still sucks. You would think I'm on an interstate highway and there was a frickin' dead zone between my workplace and my home. and it's right in the middle. So I can't, if I start doing it early, it's going to die in the middle. Otherwise I start doing it late, and it still wasn't great. I was actually past the dead zone, but it's still fuzzy in there. We'll see. All right, and here comes the truck. Yep, the truck. And they waved, because that's what we do. All right, I think I'm done, folks. It is now 20 after 5 in the Big Brother house. And I'm going to head home and maybe check out the feed some more. We'll see. I've done a lot of feed watching and listening and reading about in the last 24 hours. It's been really good. It's been good stuff, guys. It's been good stuff. If you aren't liking this season, I don't know what to tell you. I'm really worried that they're going to try to get more people like Tucker, and it's going to be a bad result. Not that Tucker's not interesting. He is, and he makes it good. On the other hand, you know, if you it can go south too. It can definitely go south. So, all right, that's it. I'm done talking. We'll see what's happening. We'll see who's likely to go home. I don't know who I want to go home. I don't want any of these people to go home. I really wanted Leah to get voted out. And no respect to Leah, who will never hear this, but she really hasn't done a whole lot. And MJ has definitely been more interesting on the feeds for any reason compared to Leah. Leah is very all about Leah. Matter of fact, it was funny because I was watching here. Here I go down another rabbit hole. One of the things that happened after the power veto was Quinn filling Joseph on things he missed on one feed, and Joseph and the two of them just kind of talking each other up like, oh yeah, this and that, and we like this, and this is how it's going to be. And Joseph saying, I don't think we should get rid of Tucker yet. He's not going to win. He's going to lose something. He's going to be easy to get out, so I'm not worried about him yet. And which I think is crazy. You get him out when you can get him out. Now, granted, production doesn't want him out, and you know that's a big issue for them. But anyways, and then the other feed was Leah talking to, I think, Rabina and Takor, and she was all about Leah. And it just wasn't, I listened to it for a little bit, but I can only take so much of it. I'm like, okay, I got it. I don't need to hear more of her. One other note, now that I mentioned that, Leah. Tucker keeps maintaining that he's only talked to Leah 3 times the entire time he's been in the house. Now, I, for one, have witnessed 2 very long conversations between Leah and Tucker. Now, they weren't necessarily very game-related, but I've witnessed 2. And Tucker says, I've only talked with her 3 times. I do not think I have been, you know, I have caught 2 of the 3 times they've talked. I think Tucker is exaggerating. Shocker. Or telling the story to meet his needs. Another thing, so here you go. I said it yesterday, or I said it earlier today. When someone looks like they've got so much of an advantage, and let's talk about that. Tucker, is the AI instigator. See, I knew I forgot Bits, the TV show. Tucker's the AI instigator. Shocking, right? I mean, thought he was going to be, but people were like, no, and I'm fine. I bought into the logic, and it made sense to me too that he wasn't. But when it first came out, and I told you guys this on here, I know I did, when it first came out, and the first thing that happened was the hand-holding got mentioned. I said, that's Tucker, and I said Tucker, when I heard the Tucker, I said Tucker would do that because he knew it was going to come out, and what a great way to get it out there, and then he can go ahead and do it. Did I say that after it happened or before? Did I even predict it? I don't know if I predicted it. No, I think I predicted it. I think I predicted that Tucker was going to say some things that made him look, you know, it came out bad on him so that he could be like, it's on me, because why would I do that? But that's exactly why he did that, because there was no loss to him. There was no loss for him to point that out because it was already out there. Everybody knew, the word was out that they were holding hands, so exposing it, you know, it upset Rabina. Now, here's another note. Boy, I keep coming up with little tidbits. Rabina, in her conversation, a couple things. There was a conversation. The last thing I watched was a conversation between Rabina and Takor, and a couple things from that. One thing was Takor pointing out that she almost nominated Quinn today. She was very seriously considering Quinn, which is interesting because that wasn't a name we heard. But she said we didn't have a chance to talk, and so she didn't do it. So that puts Quinn at a certain place on her little alliance thing. And then also then Rabina has put in Takor's idea that there's a guy, there's still the Anderson alliance from the slop guys. that all the guys have an alliance, or those guys have an alliance, and because I think they're all still here. And Rabina was pushing for an all-girls alliance. So that was interesting. And then finally, Rabina was talking about how she doesn't have to keep Tucker. She doesn't trust Tucker. The actual first AI message that basically talked about her and Tucker and implied that was a big thing, that they were a couple. She said, I said, I can't do that. I can't be stuck to Tucker that tightly. I have to be willing to just cut him whenever. And so in some ways, Tucker damaged his own game with his very first AI instigator thing, because he turned Rabina against him a little bit, if her comments are to be believed, which I don't have any reason not to believe it. So that was interesting. So from that conversation, Takor almost put up Quinn, which is okay. Talking about trying to form a girls' alliance, and Rabina saying that comment about from the AI thing kind of turned her against making her willing to cut Tucker, is how I interpreted it. That was interesting. All right, now I'm done. I've turned around, I've walked to my car, and we're gonna get in it. Did I hit my step count? I did, yay. All right, got the dog in the car, and then I'll tell you guys good night. Let's see. Get this, oops. All right, I'm done talking because now I'm just making all kinds of noises. You guys have a good evening. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow with more updates on whatever the heck is going on in this crazy Big Brother season. Take care, everybody. We'll see you. Bye-bye.